I'm Tova with Professor Pincushion, and in today's video I'm going to be talking all about straight pins. Straight pins are one of the most essential tools that you'll use when you sew, but most of us don't think too much about them. There are many types of straight pins out there, and it's important that you use the right one for your project. It's time to cover Straight Pins 101, so let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to go over the type of pin heads. Now, there are more examples than this one. These are just the most common ones. The first one we have here is the flat head. So this is just a steel shaft, and then it has the flat head, just like a tiny nail. The nice thing about this particular pin is that it can be pressed. You don't have to worry about the head melting. And also, if you're doing hand sewing, it's not going to catch the thread as easily. The problem is with this one, and it's a problem with all straight pins really, is if you drop it on the floor, especially carpet, this one is really hard to find. Next we have the plastic ball heads. Now this one, if you drop it on the carpet, it's probably still going to be hard to find, but at least it's going to be easier to find because you have a color that you can pick up. The problem is that if you do press this head with a really hot iron, it could melt it, like my example right here. So if that happens, you're just going to want to toss it. Next, we have one that looks very similar to the plastic ball head, but this is the glass ball head. So this is a little bit more expensive, but it has the benefit of the flat head because it won't melt with a hot iron, so you can press with it no problem. And it has the benefit of the plastic ball head that it's easier to spot if you drop it on carpet. Now we're going to go over the points. This part is very important because your fabric is going to determine which one you'll want to use. Extra fine sharp is the first one. This one is for woven fabrics that are delicate and lightweight. Straight pins in this category are pleating pins, silk pins, and bridle and lace pins. The next one is a sharp point. This is not as fine as the extra sharp, more of an all-purpose pin. It's also good for woven fabrics, but good for mid to heavyweight. Lastly, we have the ballpoint pin. Make sure not to confuse the packaging for the ball head. It must say ballpoint. These pins are what you want for knit fabric. The other two pins have a sharp point for piercing. This one has more of a rounded point that's better for knit. Here I have a few more specialty pins. So this first one here is an applique pin. This is a short pin that's for putting on appliques in sequence, and it's ideal, especially for appliques, is if you're using a lot of pins to pin it on, you're not going to have the pins crisscrossing and getting in the way of each other. So this is a really short pin. On the opposite side, you may have an extra long pin. This is something if you're going through multiple layers or a lot of gathering and pleating. So if you're doing something like a quilt, you may want to get quilting pins where the pins are going to be a lot longer to get through those layers. Lastly, I have the T-pins. Now this is the strongest and thickest pins you can get. This is ideal for heavyweight fabrics like upholstery. The packaging can also give you information on the type of ball pin, so you can make sure that you're picking the right pin for your project. Here we have the type of pin, how long it is, and then what project it's good for. This one is the ballpoint pins, the length of it, what fabric it's good for, and then it's also given us the gauge of the shaft. So this is a 0.5, so it's extra fine. Usually if I was to go up in the number, that means that it would be getting less fine, therefore a thicker pin. So this one, which is the T pin, might be a 0.7 or 0.8. This is important because I don't want to use a T pin for something like silk chiffon, which might damage the fabric and cause holes, but this one might be too fine to deal with upholstery fabric. Make sure to dispose of any bent or damaged pins. If you inherit straight pins, check them to see if they're rusty or dull. If they are, you should throw them away as they can ruin your fabric. Always store your straight pins in a pin cushion or lidded container so you don't lose them. New tutorials are released weekly, so please subscribe to be notified of the next release. Make sure to check out our other videos and visit ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 200 sewing video tutorials, including our exclusive premium content. Our premium membership is only $5 a month for unlimited access and only available at ProfessorPincushion.com. Also, don't forget to download our mobile app for videos on the go. Thanks for watching.